Well, good morning. I see some people are here. That's good. I see Susan's here. Welcome, Susan. How is it in Florida? Pretty good. It's cloudy here. I'm going to give it about 5 minutes before we get started. So if you're here already and you're registered, I realize I'm learning all the time with this that you have to register if you want to be able to chat to me. So if you are registered and you want to say hi, that's great. If not, and you just want to sit and breathe for a little bit, that's good too. It is the last day of April, I think, which is pretty great. We are moving right along. Weather is nicer today, but really it's been such a cold spring. Everything is just a lot, I bought a bunch of lettuce because I thought, well, I'm going to have some lettuce, grow some salad, and it all looks like when you put it in the way back of the freezer or the fridge and it gets near the freezer section and it gets all kind of terrible looking. It's not great. So, yeah, I got a lot of frozen salad and I don't know what else. Nothing's coming up in the regular garden. Hi, Jackie. How are you? Um, So I don't know. I think it'll get warm eventually, and probably all at once, like it does, and then we'll be in summer. So if you just want to sit and breathe too, you can do that. Getting started. I didn't even notice someone mentioned to me that yesterday's class there was a dog barking a lot. Um, And I've heard that at the other studio too, and it's my neighbor across the street. Their dog barks a lot, and I didn't even hear it during class, but when I played the video back, I did hear it, and it was pretty loud. So we're gonna have some distractions, and that's how it is. Oh, hi, Judy. Um, but that's okay, right? That's what we are working on: is how do we keep going despite the distractions and the obstacles, right? Um, that's kind of the point. That's why we're working on this stuff, right? Because there are always obstacles, and there's always going to be things that we need to overcome. Um, and I mean, I hope that all of them. I hope that everything in my day will be as easy as ignoring a dog barking. Hi, Key. How are you? Oh, lots of people are here. That's great. I think this is funny. So when I put this, I put the email out. I don't normally. So I have email groups of my different classes, and I don't normally put everyone together. So it was funny to think of having a class with everybody that I've ever taught a class with. It's a lot of people. I don't think they're all going to be online, but it's amazing sort of to have this technology where you could do this because obviously you couldn't really have a class that size even before all of this stuff. That probably just wouldn't happen. So it's interesting. Different times now. All right, so we're at 5 minutes past. Let's get started. So we're just going to sit up tall, shoulders back, relaxing. Take a few breaths. Bringing our awareness a little more inward, focusing on sensations in the body. Maybe take a notice. What's happening? Do you feel good today? Do you feel tired? Do you feel energetic? Notice. And before we bring the practice to a start, I want you to just bring your hands together. We're going to take a breath in and a breath out. And I know in other times, in other classes, we have talked about dedicating a practice to someone or to something, to something we're working on or something we're trying to bring into our life, having an intention, setting an intention. And I think I would like to set intention for this class and maybe for the rest of our classes as well. An intention for healing and wellness in the world. And maybe you know someone who's not doing well. Maybe you know someone who's ill. Maybe you've just read and heard about all the people who are struggling. So let's dedicate our class to that people will be well and find peace and security in times when that's maybe a little hard to find. Breath in and breath out. And I'm going to chant an Om, which you can join me in, but you don't have to. Don't usually do it in class, but this is my class, so I can. Inhale, and on the exhale, Om. And just bring the hands back down to the knee. Let's drop the head down toward the chest. And then moving the head around, we'll make a big circle. Couple times, one direction, and then let's come back the other way. And we're back to center. Take a breath in, lean forward, and then we're moving around. Doesn't matter which way you go. A couple of times. And then reverse. Back up to your seat, arms wide. Breath in, exhale, hands to center. Inhale wide. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Interlace the fingers. We're going to reach the arms high, gaze up, and then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift, and lower. Inhale. Lower on the exhale. One more. Lift it up. And then let's bring the right arm down. Reach across with the left. Switch sides. Coming back up. Let's lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Right hand on left knee, left arm behind you, sit up tall, take a breath, and then on the exhale, we're twisting. Back to center and switch sides. Breath in, twist. And back to center. So I'm going to move back. Yeah, this is pretty good. Okay, so we're up at the top of the mat. Let's stand like a mountain. Couple of breaths. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, let's bring the hands down to the mat, and then we're just going to come on down onto hands and knees. From here, let's sit back. Child's pose. So you could have knees together, but if you always do it like that, maybe bring the knees out a little bit for this one. And just relax. Coming back up. Tabletop. Let's work through cat-cow. Lower the belly, lift up the head. And then reversing that. Press down with the hands, lift up. Working with the breath. Could be a small movement, doesn't have to be a whole big thing. See how you feel today. And then sitting back again in your child's pose. So every step of the practice, we want to be noticing what's happening. How are things changing? Right? Are we doing what we need to do today? Or are we pushing too hard? Right? We want to challenge, we want to feel like we're doing some work, but we don't want to suffer for it, right? There's no point and no profit in that. Come on back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Stretching out the legs, maybe bicycle. Let's walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat. And see, sometimes that helps kind of free up the heels to come down a little more. And then step the feet up to the hands. We'll be in a fold for a few breaths. And maybe we'll bicycle out the legs a little, but without lifting the heels. So it's a very small movement, but you'll feel it right up here in the hips. And then we're lifting up slowly. Standing tall in the mountain. Breath in, breath out. So let's really focus on the mountain for a minute. So we've got the feet about hip width apart, right? So if you think about your legs coming straight down from your hips, this is hip width, right? This isn't hip width. You might feel our hips are like all the way out here, but they're really not. Just a little space in between. You should feel very stable, right? You don't want to feel like you're having to wobble for balance. Palms pressing outward. Maybe lift your shoulders and we'll just set them back. Imagine this line going up the back, up the heels, up through the crown of the head. You might tuck the chin a little and draw the neck back. A lot of times we're kind of here, we're looking down, but we want to be straight up and down. So like a lot of poses, like all the poses in yoga, right? Some of it is getting that sense of the pose in your body. Then once you feel it, once you know where it is, you'll be able to come back to it more easily. So we're still in mountain, right? Grounding down with the feet. Take one more breath in and out. Inhale, arms lift high overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming up to a flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop the knee, arms up overhead. Hands down to the mat. Stepping back, downward dog. On an inhale, we're moving forward to high plank. And then lowering down. Inhale, lift up. Just halfway, kind of a cobra shape. And lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. One more, lifting up. And then let's come back through tabletop to downward dog. And keep breathing. One more deep breath. And then we're walking the feet up to the hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift arms high. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Stepping back, downward dog. Inhale, high plank. Let's just hold here for a minute. Not a whole minute, just, you know what I mean. And then lower down. I know, when I said that, I know people were like, what? 1 minute? No way. But I bet we could. Come on up, halfway. And lower. Lifting up. And lower. And last one, this time you can lift halfway, or if you want to do upward dog, you could do that. And then moving back, downward dog. Take another breath here. And then walk the feet up to the hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And lift, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Press down with both feet, arms up overhead. Warrior one. So let's check in here. We've got body facing forward, right knee bent. Left leg is straight-ish, right? Might not be all the way straight. One more breath here, and then we're moving to warrior two. Right arm extends. Out in front, left arm behind. Shoulders relaxed. Keep on breathing. Next breath, we're flipping the right hand and then lifting it up. Left arm by your side. Just kind of reversing the angle. Breathe. One more breath. And then we're going to straighten the right knee. Reach back with that right arm, kind of stretching. And then we're lowering the right arm down. Left arm lifts, coming into triangle. So you want to be nice and open through the chest. If you're kind of here, then maybe come up. Right? You're going to have an easier time staying open. You don't have to be way down here. That's fine. And then back up. Take a breath and drop the hands. We're going to turn. So we're facing the side of the mat here. Hands at the waist. Take a deep breath. And then we're leaning forward. So your hands can come down to the mat. You could walk them back in between, kind of pulling the body forward. You could hold the ankles, whatever feels good for you today. And you can experiment with doing different things. You know, one day that may work better, something else a different day. And then hands back to the waist. We're going to engage the thighs. So use that strength in the legs and the body to lift you up. Take a breath. And then we're going to lower down again. This time, hands start here, but we're going to move them a little. So they're coming toward the back a little. We're drawing the shoulders back, elbows back. Right? This may not feel very natural, right? It may feel very awkward, and you might not really feel like you're actually moving them much at all, but that's okay. Just do your best with this. Take a breath and fold. Rising back up. Take a couple breaths. Remember, you can always lift the arms over the head if you're feeling lightheaded. Let's interlace the fingers for one more. Draw the hands together as much as you can. Shoulders back. Deep breath in. Fold forward. Hands can stay at the waist or you can lift. And then rising up again. Take a breath. In and out. Release the hands. And we're going to turn. So we're facing the front of the mat. Right leg is out, left leg behind. Let's interlace the fingers again behind. Deep breath. And fold forward. And then rising up. Back foot steps to the front, arms overhead, and back to mountain. Take a breath. Take 2 breaths or more. And we're back up at the top. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Press down with both feet, arms overhead. Warrior 1. One more breath. And then warrior 2. Left arm is extended. Out in front, right arm behind. If you're not sure what the right arm's doing, take a look, right? Sometimes it's doing a lot of unusual things. So it doesn't hurt to take a look. Inhale, flip that left hand, lift high. Reversing the warrior. On your next breath, straighten the left knee. Reach, left arm back, stretching along the side, and then we're lowering. Left arm comes down. Right arm lifts. And come on back up. Hands down by your side. Turn the foot. And we are facing the mat again, side of the mat. This mat, carpets and mat don't really mix. I am learning this lesson again and again. So we may have to change how things work in here. Take a breath. And lean forward. You just keep the hands at the waist for this one. And you don't have to come all the way down, right? You could come about halfway if you want. We're going to release the hands down so we have the right hand in the center. Left hand at your hip. So if you need a block here, if you have a block, I should have some blocks here. Of course I don't. But if I did, you can use a block, use a book, you can use whatever you have. Something so you're making contact here, if that's possible. If it's not, then you can just hang out here. That's fine. But we got left hand at the hip, press down, taking that turn. Left arm might extend, or you could keep it at the waist. It's up to you. Breathe. And then back to center, switching sides. Take that breath and twist. Everything back to center. Hands at the waist. Rising up. Take a breath. And then turning so we face the front again. Left leg is out, right leg behind. Interlace the fingers. Deep breath in and fold. And then rise up. Back foot steps to the front. Arms overhead. Back to mountain. Take a breath. And let's work on some balance. Let's do tree. So if you need the wall or a table or something you can hold on to, that's great. We're going to start on the left side. Right foot comes in, whatever height you feel comfortable. Finding that steadiness to the center, right? Arms are the last thing. We might bring them up, but we don't have to, right? What you don't want to do is try to hold your tree with your arms, right? That gives you this kind of false sense of balance. So if you've ever seen trees that grow quickly, a lot of times they do. They get too many branches on the top and they tip over in a big wind or something. So we want to build our roots before we worry about the branches. Then come on back down, switching sides. On the right foot, steady here. Breathe. Take one more breath. And then bring the foot down. Bicycle out the legs. Then from mountain, we're just going to lift up the right knee. Shoulders back, standing up nice and tall. Maybe the foot is flexed, so you have a lot of strength in that lifted leg and the standing leg. And set it down. Switch sides. Left leg lifting up. Find that focus point. Right? Keep your gaze steady. Keeps your body steady. Ish. And set it down. Bicycle legs. Okay, so last one. Let's just step out into Warrior 3. So standing, hands together, with a little room in front to step. Deep breath in. And then we're stepping forward with the left. Leaning forward as we lift that back leg. However much we're leaning, we're lifting. Hands could be at center, or we might bring them out to the side. Airplane arms to steady. And breathe. And then set the foot back down. We'll switch. Take a breath. Stepping out, this time with the right. And we're beginning. Lifting up as we lean. Hands might stay at center, or you might extend out if that helps. Keep that breath moving. If you fall out, if you take a step back, just jump back in. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be continual. You can try a couple different times, a couple different ways, see what works. And then set the foot down. Bicycle legs. And then we're back up, top of the mat, arms overhead, deep breath in, exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, step back to downward dog. We're going to be coming down to the mat, so you can always just walk back if you don't want to do the downward dog to high plank, but it's up to you. And then just lower down to the mat. Take a couple of breaths here. Coming into Cobra, we've got hands back about chest height. And then we're going to lift up head and chest. You can hover the hands. And lower down. Head turns to the right. Why not? And then head back to center. We're going to bring the arms out in front. One forearm over top of the other. Feet are together in the back. Tops of the feet resting on the mat. And you can rest your forehead on the arms. And then we're going to be lifting up. Head and chest, arms together. Lift the legs. Then lower down. Take a breath or two. Then we'll have hands by your side. Palms rest. And we're going to lift up head and chest, arms together, and lift the legs. And lower down. Head turns, well, to the right, I think, but maybe whichever one is the opposite way. Coming back up, tabletop. Let's sit back into child's pose. Then back up, tabletop to downward dog. And step the feet up to the hands. We're going to come down to a seat. So sitting tall in your staff pose. We've got hands by the side. The fingertips are sort of pointing toward your toes, right? We're sitting up tall. Sometimes your knees are a little bent here. If you have the tight hamstrings, that's fine. And then let's just bring soles of the feet together. We'll sit up tall. Deep breath in, and then leaning forward. Coming back up. Both legs out in front. Arms overhead, deep breath, and then fold forward. Make your way back up. Bending the knees. Soles of the feet to the mat. You might want to scoot up a little so you'll still be on the mat. When you come down, you can either rock back or just lower down. And we'll be here. Maybe bring the soles of the feet to the edges of the mat. Bump the knees to center. And just relax here. Breathe. And then let's hug the right knee into the chest. Left leg extends long. And then we're going to flip the hands. So now they're in behind the thigh instead of in front. And we'll extend the leg. So you might be drawing it in close if you have that flexibility. It might be pretty tight. Maybe it's not even straight. That's fine, right? None of us are going to be completely straight in this, right? It just depends how tight everything's feeling today. And then bend the knee, and we'll switch sides. Right leg extends, hug that knee in. Remember, there are no, brownie points or extra credit for flexibility in yoga, right? So to some extent, some of your flexibility will be based on how frequently you're doing yoga, right? If you're doing it more frequently, you will be more flexible. But a large part of flexibility is simply your structure of the body. So There's no way, that's like expecting a shorter person to be tall. I mean, it just won't happen. So be content to work within your range and know that, you'll get more flexible as you go, but there may be areas where you will always be tight, and that's okay too. Switch. So we've got that leg stretching out on the left side. And then release it down. So we're going to have bent knees, soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to bring the right ankle up on top of the left knee, like you're crossing your legs. From here, we're going to bring one hand in between the legs here, the other hand to the outside. So we're interlaced behind that thigh again. And draw that leg in close. So sometimes people are tempted to grab to the outside. And it's okay to do that as long as you aren't stressing that knee. If you feel tight in the knee, then don't do that, right? Keep the hands behind. And then let's switch sides. So same thing, just opposite. And then set both feet back down to the mat. Setting up for bridge. So we've got feet about hip width apart. We're walking the heels back close to the body. Hands by your side. Palms pressed down. We're going to push down with the hands and the feet lifting up. If you want to, interlace the fingers underneath. We're drawing the shoulders under. And breathe. Take one more breath. And lower. Back down to the mat. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Maybe hands onto the belly. Feel the rise and fall. And then bring knees back to center. We're going to bump the knees to the middle and the feet come to the outer edges of the mat. Arms out to a T or goalpost arms. Take a breath, and then we're going to lower both knees over to the right. We're gazing left. Back to center, and knees go left. and then back to center. Hug the knees into the chest. Maybe rock a little side to side. Maybe make some circles with the knees. Right? So just think about sort of tracing a circle with the knees. Couple in one direction and then back, opposite direction. And then extend the legs straight up, arms by your side, palms pressed down, and then lowering, either one at a time or both together. And then when you're on your mat, find a comfortable place to be in Shavasana. So just letting everything relax here. Find that sense of peace and contentment. So we've worked the body a little, right? Not too much, but enough to get things moving. We're ready for a little rest. We've been keeping our mind focused on the breath, on the movement. So it's ready to relax also. Right? Find that center. So that sense of steadiness, that peace, it's always important, right? But now, even so much more so. We speak about equanimity, right? That's something that is a real backbone of yoga. And we've talked about it a lot in classes. And I think a lot of times people kind of poo-poo it. Like, well, yeah, I mean, it's a good idea, but what's the point? Everything in my life is good. You know, I can get what I want. I can do what I want. We find that that's really an illusion. There may be times in our life when that's true, but there's also a lot of times in our life when that may not be true. If we're lucky, we don't experience too many of those times. But right now, we are experiencing one of those times. We can't always go where we want, do what we want. You can't even buy what you want, right? Everyone in my house loves chicken. Like, they are crazy for chicken. And there is no chicken to be found at any store. I sent my son a picture of chicken gizzards and asked him if that would be okay. He didn't think it was very funny, but it's okay, right? I mean, there are other things to eat. There are other things to do. I'm pretty lucky because I am kind of a homebody anyway, and several people in my family are as well. So we're kind of loving some of this, right? But I have a couple others in the household who hate being home, right? They want to go. They're go, go, go all the time. This has really been hard for them. So find what you need to do. You know, maybe you need to go out for a drive every day. Maybe you need a walk every day. Maybe you need a walk and a drive. Find what works for you. There's always an alternative. Even when there doesn't feel like there's an alternative, there is. We just have to be open to it. And that's what that equanimity does. We have a sense it's okay. It will be okay. If I don't eat chicken, I will eat beans. I will eat tuna. I will eat anything. Grass. I don't know. We'll make do. Humans are intensely adaptable, right? We live on virtually every square corner of this earth under tremendously different climate conditions, food conditions. It's possible, right? We may not love it. It may not be where we want to be, but we'll get through it because that's what we do. So hold on to that center, the spirit, that unchanging central part of ourselves. That part doesn't care what we have to eat or what we do or what our entertainments are. That part is ever living, ever going. It's unaffected by all of these little things that we get so caught up in. So know that you will be okay, and we all will be okay. Pardon me. See, bells today. So when you feel ready, making your way side to side, and then coming up to a seat on your mat. We'll bring hands together. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking some time this morning for yoga, for sharing it with me here virtually. And I hope you have a really, really good last day of April. Namaste. Thank you all. I appreciate you coming out. I did figure out how to schedule classes and actually open them again. So I'm going to try to pre-schedule these. And if you are subscribed, or I think if you set up notifications, you may not even need to be subscribed. I'm not really sure, but you can get notifications of that. So like it'll give you a reminder maybe an hour before or whatever. I'm not really sure. Again, I'm learning as we go. So as I figure it out, I'll let you know. But that's it. That's all I have for you. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you for the nice words. Everyone's so nice. Such nice words. I'm really glad you're enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I didn't think I was a little reluctant to do this. I mean, we had a bunch of things to work out with the lighting and the wires and all this. But I was also like, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm really going to like this. But I like it. It's okay. It's not bad. I wish I could see you all in person, but if I can't do that, then this is better than nothing. All right. So that's it. Have a good day, guys.